No fancy intro today. Nothing fancy. Just want to ask you a question today. And that is, do you ever just feel alone in all of this? Do you ever just feel like you're the only one who is really interested in what's going on? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's important. I think this is an important thing that I have to be a little bit more serious than normal. I do have my tea, so everything is cool. But you know what I'm talking about. If you're watching this video, you know what I'm talking about when I ask, do you feel completely alone in your music sometimes? Sure, it's fun, and you can watch YouTube videos, and like this one, you can be part of things, lives, discords. We're going to talk about all that, and social media posts and things like that, and you can interact that way. But at the end of the day, you want to talk to your spouse or to a friend or to your family, and guess what? They just don't get it. They figuratively pat you on the head and they go, "That's nice, honey." But it drives you crazy because they're trying to be encouraging. They just don't feel it like you do. No one feels the music, the production, the chord structure. And did you hear that drop? How cool was that drop? Wasn't that powerful? And they stare at you blankly and they say, "Yeah, I guess." That's when it gets pretty lonely and you realize that you're kind of just alone in all of this. Or as Bill Murray said in Stripes, and then depression set in. Well, that's what I want to talk about today. So thank you for joining me today, because we're going to talk about some things that hopefully will help you feel a little less lonely. And that's the best I can hopefully do for you today, is to help you feel like you're not just all alone in this. One way that it could help is to check out something that we're working on now and introducing for the new year. And several people are already in the Make Music Mastermind and the Make Music Income Mastermind. Once again, I have used the wrong title for my own mastermind class. But the Make Music Income Mastermind is a 12-week face-to-face weekly Zoom meeting where we're going to just sit and talk to each other. And I'm going to give lessons every week on sync. I'm going to give lessons on all sorts of stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I am still looking for about three more people in the Make Music Income Mastermind. I also have a Hello Composer Mastermind. But what I want to talk to you about is that I am about to end the early bird pricing, which was quite a bit off of the main price. I had put this thing out, and the video will be below for the mastermind. So if you want to go check out the video where I introduced the Make Music Income Mastermind, then you can check that out in below in the description. But to me, this is just a way that you can move away from being completely alone in what you're doing with music. We're going to talk about why it's so dangerous here in just a moment, and get other people's thoughts as well on how they feel about this. How do you feel? Are you alone in making music and making music income? It's a lonely business. I remember a movie called Arthur, and he's a real spoiled rich guy, and he's taking a bath, and the butler walks in and he says, "Would you mind just sitting here with me for a while, Hobson?" And the butler says, "Yes, bathing is a lonely business." Well, some music can be a lonely business too. And so that's why I decided I wanted to start some of these these groups, these mastermind groups, and just get together with a handful of people and really try to help them with the music that they are trying to make. And so you get 12 weeks. Every week we're getting together live on Zoom, and we're going to be talking together. And then you get 3 coaching sessions, which I hope to start right after Christmas, maybe even in the week after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. Before we get started, I'd like to do one coaching session with you in that to just really help figure out where you want to go personally, because as the mastermind moves on, we will go through lessons, but then we'll get into things that you specifically want to talk about, and that's pretty important to me, that we're really getting into what works for you personally. You can do this. You can do this music life, and that's what I want to help you with. If I can do it, you could do it. Everybody can do this, and you don't have to get a master's degree. You don't have to get a record deal or a publishing deal. You can make your own deals. That's what we talk about. But the Cyber Week price has been $249 for the 12-week course plus 3 coaching sessions. I'm going to be charging $75 in the new year for my coaching sessions alone. So for the cost, less of the cost than 4 coaching sessions, 1-hour coaching sessions, you can be part of this entire mastermind. But that cyber price is ending. That early bird pricing is ending here probably this weekend. So if you are interested, please make sure you go to makemusicincome.com/mastermind and check that out. Now, let me talk a little bit about why this is going to be so much fun. Like I said, I'd like to start the first individual consults right after Christmas. So if you're interested in this and you want to talk to me in person, I'd love to be talking with you right after Christmas in that kind of no man's land, what we call after Christmas and before New Year's. So I'd like to get the 6 or so people that are going to be in each mastermind and have a time to talk with you. I can't promise when or if I will be able to do this again. I've done mastermind groups before over the course of a year, and this is just a 12-week course. It's just a 3-month course with 3 extra. So you get like 15 in-person Zooms with me. Imagine being like this, except actually talking with me with your face right on the camera and me talking with you and others. We're going to be focusing on music licensing, taking your specific talents. I think this is why this is so important. You can watch gurus all day long, including me, tell you stuff about music income and what's happening with me and how I'm doing sync licensing and stuff. But it's a different thing to really talk to you. I know you're all alone in your little place, just like I am here. And it's important that you are able to talk to somebody, that you're able to get feedback. I've done coaching many times in my life where I pay a coach and talk with them monthly just to make sure that I'm on the right path, business coaches and other people. So I really believe in this kind of mastermind and coaching thing. But I'm trying to grow a career in TV, film, and advertising music, and I think that you can too. And if you're interested in that, now you have to have a catalog to be part of the Make Music Income Mastermind. But we're going to really focus on music licensing, on stock music licensing, libraries like Pond5 and Motion Array and Artlist and SongTrader and Content ID, and just really how to use it as another side income. I really don't believe for most of us the stock music licensing is going to be a full-time income, but I think it could be a part-time income for you. So if you are interested in that, that is part of what we're going to be focusing on in the mastermind. Probably music licensing on the sync licensing will probably be a bigger focus. But stock music is very interesting to a lot of people, and so we're going to be talking about that as well. The other thing I want to talk about and that I'm working on right now is building your artist side on Spotify and the DSPs. I think that's hugely important, and maximizing not just your earning potential, but your legacy of music out into the world. I think this is hugely important, people. And I think we are, for some reason, kind of missing it. We're not focusing on all the things, and there's not that many things. There's 5 or 6 things that we've got to be focusing on to build a music income. So if that's interesting to you, and you've run around, or I should say you've sat around in your studio trying to make it happen, not happening, that's what we're going to do in this mastermind. Music publishing. How are you going to get all these royalties? Mechanical royalties, performance royalties, sync royalties, other royalties, money from all directions coming in. That's a big part of what the Make Music Income Mastermind is about. It's about helping you get out of your own way, and we're going to talk about 4 reasons why being alone is so dangerous, and we'll talk about that. Use your production skills to become a music producer. I've made a living like that before, and it can be a nice living while you're waiting for royalties to come in. Education, educating people, starting a channel like this, doing what I do, or just teaching people locally. All of these things are things that can be something that bring music income. And so once you have seen this video right now, that what I'm talking about right now, not just this whole video, but just this video, make sure that you make a note to email me to go to makemusicincome.com/mastermind, and let's get in touch, because these spots are going fast. And again, the $249 price, which, by the way, I have a new way for you to pay that, which you might be interested in. So make sure you email me about it. Email is free, totally free. Make sure you just shoot us an email. Go to this link. You can find out all about the mastermind and what we're going to be doing, and then we can talk. So let's see who is here today. Arco is in the house. Wait a minute. What did I see down here? Oh, Tommy is in the house from Orange County, California. Thanks for being here today. Signature Music in the house. Ronan, good morning from LA. Jonathan, Carlisle. Awesome topic, very important. Yeah, I hope, I'm glad you're here. I hope this is helpful for people. Arco says, I feel it's lonely, but very dangerous, very adventurous. No destination, really. Collaboration has helped with the lonely thing for me. Highly recommend. Absolutely. Daydreams in the house. Good to see you today. D. Brizzy, good to see you again. Yeah, I'll get to some questions on these. I do not know the answer to this question, though, because I'm not on Artlist, unfortunately. ML Music, what is up? Yeah, there you go again with your wrong account. Marley, how you doing? Good to see you. All right, so let's move on with this here, and let's just talk about this. Are you alone? Are you in your, I used to call it being down in your laboratory, because I used to be in my laboratory before I got serious with music. I mean, I've always been serious with music more than anybody else. I've been serious about doing music. And by the way, I hope we're getting good audio today. Music more than anybody else. I've been serious about doing music. Yes, the other day we didn't have a great connection, but hopefully this is better today. But I spent many nights in my laboratory downstairs working on things, alone, messing around. I didn't have the current internet we have now, so I couldn't do all the libraries and things, and not everybody, including music companies, especially in the 90s, were not online offering the ability for you to come in and send music to them, or there weren't stock sites, or if there were, they were hard to find. There weren't sync licensing companies that you could find online. They were just, they didn't need that. The music business was a much more closed place in the 90s. So I would work my job, and I worked corporate back in the 90s, and I would do music at night in my little laboratory, which was very similar to this. I had keyboards and I had a computer, and I didn't really have, there was no YouTube. there were like AOL groups and then, then MySpace and then Facebook, and eventually groups came along. Discord, there wasn't a Discord, but Discord is really pretty much old school message boards, really. That's why I always thought it was funny that people were getting into Discord. It's like people get back into old things. Have you noticed? Discord is a lot like AOL message boards. Podcasts is a lot like radio shows. And we just keep recycling these technologies and they become the big thing. But still, I was alone. I didn't have thousands of people to cheer me on. And by the way, I have 1,000 people for you to cheer you on. It's called our Discord, and it's another thing we'll talk about. But we've got almost 1,000 people in that Discord, and so make sure you go down below in the description and come check out the Discord. Hang out, ask all your questions. There are no stupid questions. Ask them all, and tons of people, including me and Stevie B, will all get back to you about some of these things. So find that link down below in the description and join us. Another way to not be alone. I don't want you to be alone anymore. I want you to have a place to come to. And that's what both my channels are for. This is more about making income and working as a producer to make music and make music income. And then, of course, Hello Composers, my other site, is about inspiration, encouragement for composers, the composer life, sometimes talking about some composing things, music theory things, but mostly trying to just talk to you about your life as a composer and best steps for you to take, and listening to your music and giving you thoughts and things like that. So make sure you check out hellocomposers.com. I don't think I have a thing for it today, but don't be alone. I don't want you to be alone. And I want to talk for a minute about the 4 dangers of being alone in music. I think there are many reasons why you shouldn't be alone, but these 4 kind of just came to me as I was thinking about talking about this. And the first thing was, it's easy when you're alone to lose your confidence because nothing is happening. No one is listening. No one is as interested in it as you are. You probably know what I'm talking about here. No one really is as crazy about your music as you are, not because it's not good, but just because either you're not showing it to people or you're not doing the right things in marketing yet. But you can easily lose your confidence and your excitement about music if you're not careful. And so this is one reason why you shouldn't just sit alone in your basement or in your laboratory doing music and making beats and doing all this kind of stuff and never reach out to people, never be part of groups, never be part of masterminds or go on lives and ask questions like this live right now. It's easy to be alone and just then kind of lose confidence. And we'll talk about where that can lead in a moment. The other thing that I think that is really important is that if you are alone, you're not going to grow. This happened to me, and I changed the trajectory of that. I was by myself in my basement making my tapes and my beats and my recordings, and I was showing people a little bit here and there. And when I showed people, they were really excited, but the fact was I was not finishing things. I was just not getting things finished. I was all by myself. I had nobody to prompt me to put out more music, or there was no need for it out. Only if I did it. I had to be the one doing it. If I didn't do it, then it was not going to get done because I was all alone in what I was trying to do. And so me by myself, no growth. I really didn't continue to grow as a composer or grow as an arranger or as a producer, because all I was doing was just whatever I thought, only what this brain thought of. And I think that that's a danger, is that we can get trapped in our own mind thinking what we make is awesome, or as my friend Anthony Clint would say, what we're making is dope, We don't need anybody else to, yes, I use the word dope. We don't need anybody else to make music. We can just make it ourselves. But I just felt like I wasn't growing. And so, as it happened, I started to get out into local studios and work with an engineer. And with that influence, with that, that help, with just by going out into a studio and working with others, musicians, engineers, all that kind of stuff, I became better. I just got better. I got better at producing. I got better at leading people. I got better at my songwriting improved as I started working with others. I learned things that I had never known by sitting in my room all day, by just sitting in here and just playing the keys and just doing my thing and living in my own head. I did get better by expanding out into local studios, and I grew. The next thing for me was moving to Nashville and no longer being the big fish in the small pond in Lexington, Kentucky, where I was from, but being a small fish in a giant ocean, which was Nashville. Not that it's that big of a town, but there are pros, so many larger than life characters and players and people that you just can't believe that you actually get to work with because you used to follow their albums or whatever. But Nashville made me grow. Going to a music city, going someplace away from home, away from being the guy in town that everybody said, go see this guy. And that's great to be, but that can be a thing that can stop you from growing. If you get to the top of the mountain, there's no place else to go. So you need a higher mountain. That's just the best analogy I can say. If you're at the top of the mountain, you're the king of the mountain, but there's always a bigger mountain. There's always a king who's at the next level. There's always a next level, period, for you to go to. But if you stay in that room, if you stay in that town, if you stay in that place, now you don't have to go live in another town. You can just go and visit a Nashville or an LA or a London or a Paris or wherever you would go in the world to go to one of those towns. But you've got to get out of your own way. You've got to get out of what you're stuck in. And then the other thing about this, and there's a lot on this topic, is I always thought when I went out of school, I know this is a touchy subject when we talk about it, but I always thought when I went to school, to college at first, that I didn't need to go to college. I mean, I knew music. I knew what I wanted to do. Classical music school was not for me, not interested. I just wanted to write songs and play the piano and just do my thing. And I was going to get a record. I was going to get a publishing deal. That was my plan. And I didn't study. But when I went back to school in my 40s or so and decided to finish up my bachelor's and then got my master's, this last 10, 15 years has been a huge bit of growth for me. I would never have been able to start and teach like I'm teaching you now without all the knowledge that I gained in my bachelor's, in my master's program. Yes, you might think music history is boring, music theory is boring, all that stuff, but that knowledge is something that makes you much more well-rounded, much more dimensional than the next person. And this is what I tell my students at school. You may not care about music theory. You may not care about the history of recorded music. You may not care about any of these things that you're learning, but just having them, just knowing them is something that is really going to be something that not everybody has. And so that is why I think it's so important to get out and work with others. So school, university can be a way to get out among other people and other music people and learn and grow. You need others. You need other people. You may not think you do, but you got to have some kind of outside stimulus that is prodding you on and making you grow. And I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I'm a full believer in this. The next thing is You could keep doing the same old thing for years or decades and never grow. We hear these sometimes on Hello Composers. We hear people who are, I've heard it for years with my clients in Nashville, where they just come in and they're good old 70s guitar players. Nothing against good old 70s guitar players. I'm a good old 70s piano player or 80s piano player, keyboard player. But we can get trapped in a decade. We can get trapped in a style. We can get trapped in only what we know how to do. And so you can just do the same old for a long time, being alone. And that's another reason why you don't want to be alone. And then the last part, which relates back to the lack of confidence, is being alone. If you're not careful, if you're not very, very careful, you can just give up. You might just say, you know what, nothing's happening. I keep making this music, but I'm not really sharing it with anybody. I'm not really growing. Nothing seems to be getting better. And you just may stop. And a lot of people, until they meet me, say, I wish I'd met you 20 years ago before I stopped doing music, because there was nobody encouraging me. There was nobody working with me, telling me I need to get better. I need to get to the next level. And I didn't have a mastermind back then, but I did work as producer for people, and I gave them this same kind of knowledge. You got to get out of your town. You got to come here to Nashville, or that's when I was in Nashville, or you got to come and be part of something. And you don't have to live here, but you do have to come work here. And you don't want to give up. You don't want to get to that place where you just give up music, because I've worked with hundreds of people who gave up music for a while, and it took them decades, literally decades, to have a family, to work, to do their job before they could get back to doing music. So these are just 4 things that I've just found very important, and I think are just dangers in making music. So let's see what's happening in the chat. It's been going crazy here a little bit. D. Brizzy says, definitely feel alone. I feel you. I remember that feeling. And so absolutely, Marley says, there we go. Yeah, absolutely. History lesson. Interesting to know what the 90s was like. Dude, you have no idea what it was like to be in the 90s. Talk about feeling alone. I mean, you did have things like AOL, which is, AOL boards were a lot like Discord boards. Same kind of thing. You'd post a thought and then have conversations with people. But that was about as good as it got, and that was way advanced at the time, until the early 2000s came and things like Facebook popped up and stuff like that. ISO is in the house. Good to see you, man. Yeah, Discord reminds you of MSN Messenger. Yeah, everybody had that first thing. Arco's going to give us a real history lesson. Like in prehistoric times, our ancestors wore leafs, which had holes here and there, and now we have torn jeans, which have holes there. I never have put that together, Arco. Thank you for that that analogy. I never see that. Yeah. History is repeating herself. I had not thought about holes in jeans and holes in the leaves that we used to wear. So Arco says it's very helpful to have someone give you honest feedback, which needs someone other than yourself. Absolutely. You can't give yourself honest feedback, folks. I don't care who you are, how smart you are, how awesome you are. You can't be honest with yourself. You have to put music out there and see what people say about it. It's one of the reasons why I do the Hello Composer thing, and I do the music listening thing on Wednesdays, is because someone has to speak into your songs. And I do it from a very positive standpoint, I hope. I try to make sure the conversation is very constructive and helpful. And so if you talk to me, you're going to get real, but you're going to be helped in a way that's real, but yet hopefully helpful in a way that's not too harsh. And I've seen those people before. Arco says, I miss the 90s. I am 2000. Isomatic says, I miss the 90s. He was 91. Heavenly Bridegroom Music, please be the guy I've been looking for. Well, how might I help you? Love that name. D. Brizzy says 95 and missed all that too. Yeah. It was a crazy time back in the 90s. And it was way easier to be alone before the internet. And now the internet at least lets us all be here together. There's 15 of us, 16 of us here talking. If you have a comment about being alone, and tell me what you have done. And if you're watching this later after the live, just hanging out with us here online, tell me in the comments, how have you dealt with being alone? Do you feel alone? I think this is one of those videos that's going to resonate with people when they see this, because we don't realize how many people really feel alone, even if they're part of Discords, even if they're on lives. A lot of you who are on this live right now are not even talking in the chat, because you're kind of just, you might be doing something else, but you are absolutely just sitting in the room and watching the conversation. And you need to get involved. You need to say something. You need to ask a question, and shoot me an amen on this. I'm alone. And so that kind of thing is very helpful. So let's talk about some ways that you don't have to be alone. Ways to not be alone. And these aren't long, and I've already talked about these, so I'm not going to go into detail on these. But certainly the mastermind and my coaching, this is a way that I can help you with your music on a one-on-one basis. Or if you're part of our mastermind, I can help you, and a group can help you. We can help in a group situation, a little less expensive than doing 15 coaching sessions with me, the mastermind. So you might consider that. The Discord, dude, we have a great Discord. We have such a poppin' Discord over at the Make Music Income Discord. Go down below and please be part of that. We have all sorts of people talking about their music, talking about their experiences with their music, talking about producing music, talking about sounds, talking about sync licensing, stock music licensing, Spotify. We're talking about all that stuff in there. We're starting our own AOL. We're starting our own Facebook. We're starting our own community. It's just a great community. You'd have to pay for most communities like this, and this one is totally free. It's never going to be paid for. It's always going to be free and open to everybody to come in and talk about what they need to do. It's a great way to not be alone on the Discord, and I know a lot of you are in the Discord. Heavenly Bridegroom Music says, I feel totally alone. Well, I would love to know more about what's going on with you. I feel like a counselor today, but that's okay, because I do counsel a lot of people. I counsel people every day, every week on this channel and my Hello Composers, if you're a composer channel. I absolutely love to counsel, and would love to hear your story if you want to share it with us here, why you feel alone, because that's the whole point of this video, is to talk about that. I know these videos are long, and we live in a shorts and a short video kind of world, and I don't know. I still am on the kind of edge of how I'm going to use shorts, and because I know they're popular. I'm going to try to use some maybe in the new year on my different brands, my piano brand and my jazz brand things. See if TikTok and stuff like that helps grow that. But as far as disseminating information like this and talking to people, I just don't feel like 60 seconds is enough to really say what I want to say. Maybe I'm long-winded, but same with Arco. You're not alone, Heavenly Bridegroom. Glad you are here. I hope that you feel some kind of encouragement today, because this is a community. There's a community for you, and if you're doing music, we can totally help you not feel alone. Domenico says, waiting for the boss to get back at work, but yeah, I feel it. I have an artist buddy I work with that helps. And there you go. Just finding one person that you can share music ideas with, just one person that you can meet with weekly. That's a start. That's a start of not being alone. Yeah, absolutely. Connect with me through email. You can go to makemusicincome.com and just email from there. We absolutely are trying to help people. I've always been, and even when I was just only doing music production, I was the person that they were working with. I helped them not be alone, but just by working with them and bringing them to town, to Nashville or Lexington or wherever I was at. So, God bless you as well. And yeah, get in touch through email. We'd love to talk. Absolutely. Arco says, join the Discord. Absolutely like this. Ronan says, communities such as this, the Discord and now your mastermind are great. Thanks, Eric. Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for always being here, Ronan and Arco and D and ISO and everybody else who joins on these. It's good to have you here. It's good to be in community with you. It helps me. Guess what? I'm sitting here alone all day. Well, not until I go teach students, and then I'm totally not alone. But one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel was because I was feeling a little alone, right? We all did through COVID. COVID was really tough, and it forced us all to just be locked away in rooms. Now, if we had studios and we had music equipment, we could make music. And so that was kind of a balm maybe on the situation. But man, it is tough to be in your studio making music. And even if you share it online, sometimes you don't get anybody saying anything. Or if you share it with your friends. Arco says, I have so many friends in Discord. And yeah, you do. And Arco is also joined our mastermind. And so I'm excited to work with you, Arco, in the mastermind. Arco is busting it everywhere, folks. I'm telling you, he's in Steve's Production Music Academy. He's going to be in my mastermind. He is in college working on a degree. That is busting it. And he's always here working hard on his music, on everything. I just got to give Arco a big shout out. You deserve all the good things that happen to you because you are busting it, man. And I see that. I just want you to know that I see that. All right. So like I said, there's a ways to not be alone. Our mastermind, our Discord for sure. These YouTube channels. I do these and I don't do I probably have two reasons for doing these lives. One is I've run out of time with everything else I do a lot of video editing. However, this weekend I'm editing 2 or 3 videos that you'll see coming out that are edited. So finally getting some edited videos out. Thank you guys for being patient with me and hanging out with me on these lives and watching however much of these lives you watch. I appreciate it. I hope they bring you some help. I tried to go in and put timestamps so you can easily go to the things you want to see and watch the part of the show you want to watch. But it's fun to be on these YouTube channels. It's fun to be part of these lives. These lives are how you not be alone, for sure. Debris says, shout out to Arco. Absolutely. Arco. Yeah, Jonathan says, congrats, Arco. Heavenly says, you bet. You get all the shout outs because you know why? You shout out everybody else, Arco, and you are supportive of everyone. Domenico says, I'll join the Discord when I get home. Internet isn't great out here. Yeah. Come on, get on Discord with us and talk with us. Would love to hear more about your music and what you're trying to do with Make Music Income. And also make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. This channel pretty much feeds itself as far as subscribers, but would love to have you there. Would love to also have you on my Hello Composers site. And you can find that at hellocomposers.com. And on hellocomposers.com, all we do is talk about your writing and your composing. We don't talk about any making music income. I sometimes will get into and do get into these kind of emotional type things where we are trying to figure out how we continue to do this. There's a lot of problems with burnout and with depression and with anxiety and a lot of things we deal with. We've become a very open society with our anxiety and our depression, and that's okay. We live with it here at this house. We live with it in our family, across the families, both families that we come from, and it's a plague. It's almost like its own Anxiety and depression is almost like its own pandemic in the world right now, especially in the United States. So if you are feeling that way and you feel alone, you can be here anytime. And Arco says having friends who are aiming for the same things can really help you from getting over loneliness, right? And being alone, I saw it's inspiring the masses. Way to go, Arco. You're the man. I just think that being on YouTube channels like this, there's also my friend Stevie B. Stevie B cares so much, man. He works his academy so much. You see it, you can see it in his videos, you can hear it in his voice, how much my friend Stevie B works. And make sure to go to Production Music Academy. You'll find that link. It's always down below. There's a lot of links always below in every video that I have. And I do that on purpose. I do that so that you'll find the people like Jesse and people like Daniel and people like Dave Croft and people like Clint Music and people like Stevie and other people like myself who they don't do those channels because they only make money on them. They don't make them that much money. They do them because they love doing them. They love hanging out with people and not being alone. We all really got on YouTube because we didn't want to be alone. Daydream says, it's important to see that I'm not alone in searching for solutions for almost the same problems. Everyone in this community profits from each other. It's a nice community. It really is. It's not even something that I planned on. Steve just came to me and said, hey, I'm starting my Production Music Academy. Can you take over the Discord? And I was like, okay. And so we renamed it Make Music Income Discord, and there we go. It's kind of gone out from there. Steve is really helpful in the academy and really appreciate that. Man, he works so hard at that academy and creating those courses for you guys. You need to be part of that academy. And also, I need to just mention here, that there are lots of supportive communities. And another one is my friend Dave. We had lunch the other day, and you need to make sure you know about Dave Croft and 52cues.com. Did you know that you can join 52cues.com for free? There's not even a charge. You can be part of the community and just be on the base level for nada, for zero. Talk about a community that you can be part of. If you write any kind of, now they focus on production music there. So if you're focusing on music production for television, really even television specifically, production music for TV shows and for that kind of programming, then 52 Cues is wide open for you, and you can jump right in there for no cost and be just I can't remember what if they call it a friend or just a free member there. So I didn't know that the other day. We had lunch, and he told me, yep. Shout out to Dave. Absolutely. Dave is always, you also find his information down below on every video. Yeah, it's a shout out day. You know why? Because I want to shout out people who may feel alone. Arco's all the way out in India trying to do this work. A lot of you are in various spots around the world that you may feel. One of the guys, Matthias, are you your Daydream Studio, right? I sometimes I can't remember whose call name is what, but somebody who's working with me is in China, and so I've got somebody working with me. There you go, working with me in West Australia. If you think Australia is far away, you should be in West Australia in Perth. That is all the way over on the other side of Australia, and she is going to be in the Hello Composers Mastermind. So to me, this is really important work here, is to help people. Oh, sorry about that. Who am I thinking of who is in China? I can't think of who it is right now, but yeah, dude, we are global. That's the coolest thing about this, is I get to talk to you guys about not being alone from anywhere you are in the world. This isn't just a U.S. thing, which is great. I love the U.S., but I think it's really cool that we are all from different places, and especially in Europe, in other countries, in Australia, in China, in India, in all the other places. I think we have some people in Norway. I think we have some people in I know we have people in England, Canada for sure, like our friend Stevie B. So I just really appreciate everybody being here. Back to how you cannot be alone. Besides our YouTube channels, follow who we follow. I was just talking about Dave and Stevie and all the other people. They're all below in the description. You can be part of theirs. They do lives as well. You can be part of their communities and join with them, because you just don't want to be alone in this, folks. There's no reason to be alone. You don't have to be alone anymore. If you've been trying to do it yourself, stop. You don't have to be alone. Just follow these channels. Hang out with us. Talk with us. Leave messages in the comments. Tell me your story. Get in touch with me through email. Be part of our mastermind. That's why I have it, so that I can talk with people every week and we can sit and talk about what is going on. I'm going to check in with every single person with our mastermind and make sure that every single person in each of the masterminds is heard that week. What is going on in your life this week? It's kind of like when me and Steve do our podcast and we talk about what we are doing that week, because every week is different. It's a unique life for those of us who do music and do creative projects. I want to find out from you what you're doing every week. That's why I want you a part of the mastermind. It's not that much money for me, because after PayPal fees and because I'm giving such a deal right now, I'm probably underselling my time. But it's important for me to try this and see if this program works and see if it's helpful for people not to be alone. Arco says, when I'm talking in Discord, sometimes I don't even know where they are from, but we are good friends. He says, that's so cool. Daydream says, sometimes the feeling of loneliness will be amplified for false expectations and messages from the industry. Yeah, no doubt. Sometimes you can work with libraries and you seem like you're working with a faceless corporation, or even the libraries who you can talk to. Sometimes they're not able to talk to you, and you might feel like they're dissing you or whatever, but everybody's trying to live life and everybody's trying to get through their own problems. So, we're seeing that, this kind of stuff is the stuff that we're dealing with. And that's why this mastermind is so important to me, and my coaching in general. I also just do like one-off coaching. So if you ever want to do that, just go to makemusicincome.com and you can check out the mastermind, or you can check out the coaching. Either one of those things is something I can do to help you, and we can just chat for an hour, online. Don't have a lot of availability for that, just because of everything I do, like my channels, like my teaching, which is every day. And then, I am a busy composer myself and trying to get all of that out. So it's important to me that I get all of that out. So what else anybody have to say today? That's about all I have to say. I hope this has been helpful to you guys and gals, if there's any gals listening or watching later. Thank you so much for being part of the show today. And I hope that this has helped. If you feel like you're alone, and I know I'm not talking about suicide type things and really stuff like that. I'm talking about being alone in your music, but there are times when we really just get feeling super low. So D Brizzy says, very helpful. I'm glad this has been helpful. Thank you for being here, D, and everybody who's here today. Thank you for being part of this. Don't be alone. You don't have to be. And I know sometimes people, I've gotten some comments lately say, you repeat yourself a lot. Well, some stuff bears repeating. And I also need to tell you, if you're watching this and you've gotten this far in this, if you happen to be here, I will not respond and will remove negative comments or non-helpful comments on my YouTube channels or on Discord or things like that. There's no room for non-helpful comments. all comments have to be helpful in some way. They can be constructive, they can be critical, but they can't be mean. And if they're just not talking about anything other than why you don't like what I'm saying or why you don't like me, that's going to come down. We'll remove it. So just so you know, I'm always happy to have you guys here. Thanks for Daydreams for being here. Heavenly Bridegroom, great to see you here today. Make sure that you email me and let me know if I can help in any way. Arco says, next week I have a birthday. We're going to have a birthday celebration for Arco next week, everybody. Maybe on Hello Composers. What day is your birthday, Arco? I think you may have said what your birthday is. Okay, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you. Greg Holzer is in the house. I encourage solo artists to branch out and do a song project with others, even if it's just some added instrumentation that you're not as good at. Work with other singers or session musicians. Absolutely. I say a hearty amen to that, my friend, because you have to, man, the secret of my success is other musicians, is Nashville players and engineers. I'm not. If anybody is watching this thinking that I'm the genius that plays all the instruments on all my songs, you are sadly mistaken. I owe so much to the musicians, even before I moved to Nashville. Like my brother, who was my drummer for so many years, my best friend, one of my best friends in the world, Bill Williams, who was a bass player, all the other people who played for me in Kentucky, and then in Nashville, just 100 different session musicians and session engineers that have made my career and taught me so much and helped me not be alone. So absolutely, this is a big one. Thank you for that comment. Tuesday, okay, well, we will do the Hello Composers live listening session on Wednesday, and Arco, you need to send a Christmas song or any song you want. It's your birthday, you can send any song you want. But as you might know, we are doing Christmas song listens on the Hello Composer show on Wednesdays. So if you have Christmas songs, make sure to just email them to me at hellocomposers@gmail.com. Also, make sure that you let me know how you wrote it, why you wrote it, and what you used. That's always interesting stuff for us to know. So make sure you email. You can email now. You don't have to wait till Wednesday. I don't know if I've got any songs yet for next Wednesday's show, but we're doing Christmas or holiday songs, Christmas season, could be New Year's songs, but anything in the Christmas season type of songs. As always, I'll be sharing a song that I've done. Ron Patton is in the house. Good to see you, Ron. I'm a firm believer in collaboration. When I write with other writers, I write differently in a good way. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so this kind of things, and there's no prerequisites on when the last time we listened to one of your songs in. So Marley, yeah, absolutely send one. Everybody send me a song for a Christmas song. I know you got Christmas songs. I have We Wish You a Merry Christmas cover. Whatever you want to send. Would love to hear it and talk about it. I love those listening sessions. They're fun for me. I try not to be too awfully overly critical in a bad way. Sometimes we have to be constructively critical, and in the same spirit of not leaving negative comments. We don't say negative things without saying positive things. If you say, I don't think the piano's played very well, you then have to come back and say, but I really like the percussion. I really like what you've done with the chords or something like that. And it has to be helpful. We're not going to help people if they're sitting alone trying to make decisions on their own by just telling them they're bad or telling them things aren't going well. So that's about all I have to say, folks. We're 57 minutes in. I'm going to sign off now, but thank you so much for being here. Hope you have a great day. I hope this video has encouraged you. Go back and watch it again. And if you missed any of it, or if you have any questions, just make sure to go to the MakeMusicIncome.com site and check in with us. Make sure you like this video, and so other people who are alone might see it on YouTube. That kind of helps people get suggested videos. So the more likes, the better, and maybe more people who are alone might see this and feel better about things. So also subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And so you'll get, like, every time we put a new video, it'll come up in your feed and you'll be able to be part of these lives. I love doing them. All right, everybody. Thank you. Peace out. D Brizzy. Daydream says, wish you all great composers a good weekend. Everybody, all you people, thanks so much. Yeah, everybody, thanks so much. Greg says, I recorded my Christmas music 15 years ago, so I've grown as a music producer. They all need to be remixed. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome, Greg. Thanks for being here. I'm thankful that you're here, and I appreciate you being here as well. All right, love you all as well. Heavenly Bridegroom, thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to everybody soon. Have a dope weekend, Ronan. Yo. And everybody have a good weekend. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Write some good music and then show it to me. And don't be alone. Get other people to help you. Or go dope. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Everybody wave goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Love ya. See ya. Be dope. Okay. Bye-bye. See you. Bye. Ending now. I mean it. It's really happening.